Welcome to another episode of This is Culture. If you're a fan of the show and you enjoy what we're doing, please leave it down below in the comments. Also, don't forget to give us a share, a like, even hit that notification bell. And now in this week's show,
it's 2019 and I know everybody has a high quality camera right in their pocket, and I'm gonna teach you how to use it best.
It was so disgusting. There was nothing but garbage on every single floor.
Did an internship with the New York Giants in 1997 for that season, and then the following season I was hired full-time by them, and this is going on my 23rd season with the New York Giants right now.
Welcome everyone to episode number 7 of This is Culture. As you remember, last week we spoke about community. Today we're going to talk about going above and beyond and having pride. So what I want to tell you guys about is that throughout my entire life, I've always wanted to be the best at anything that I did. Even from when I was a kid, there was a teacher that was instilled in me to be the best or to be better than I thought I was. Once when I was a kid, I had a book report that was due and I did a half-ass job. I didn't even read the book. I just showed up and I tried to give the book report on a movie that I didn't even watch the movie, but I saw a trailer or I read the back of a cliff note. I don't even know what I did. All I know is that I made it up completely. The teacher embarrassed me.
You call this a paragraph?
She said that I completely made it up, and she was 100% right. So ever since that day, she instilled in me that I should never half-ass anything. I should never try to just get away with the bare minimum. So since then, I've done everything in my life to the best of my capacity. In sports, in school, I was literally working and going to school in high school and getting good grades. So this also led me into my business career, where in business, I also wanted to be the best at everything I did. I excelled in being a barber. Now I'm excelling in real estate, and I'm excelling in investing. And now I want to excel in just helping as many people as humanly possible. So this has been my growth, but it started with the mentality of being the best and having pride in what you do and going above and beyond in everything, whether someone is looking or whether no one is looking. That's the important. That's actually what separates good people from great people. So in your life, you also should do the same thing, which brings us into our first segment, Curb Appeal.
Na 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 na.
So in this segment, a Curb Appeal, Mike is going to teach us how to take better pictures with just our cell phone. Now he's going to teach us a strategy called the Rule of Thirds. When implemented correctly, is going to make a big difference in your pictures. Check it out for yourself.
Hey folks, Mike here, media producer at This is Culture. Today I'm bringing you a curb appeal to enhance your images and your videos. It's 2019 and I know everybody has a high quality camera right in their pocket, and I'm going to teach you how to use it best. The rule of thirds is simple. We have 2 imaginary lines going up and down and 2 going across. This divides our picture into 9 sections. And I know what you're thinking, and no, we're not doing it. We are not remaking the Brady Bunch. Or are we? I promise you we're not. What we're doing is we're finding our areas of focus. We have 4 areas of intersection, and that's where we want to put our most important information. Now, when people look at photos, they often graze right past the middle of the photo, and as designers, we want to take advantage of that. When dealing with people, you want to find the middle of their torso and align it to the left line or the right line of our rule of thirds. This will allow you to tell a better story. This will show more of the background. This will allow the audience members to feel more intimate with the speaker. With dealing with landscapes, we're going to talk about the top and the bottom of the frame. On a landscape that we're focusing on the land, we want to make sure the horizon is on the top line. This will show more of the ground. But if our focus is in the sky, we bring the horizon down to the bottom line. This will expand more of the sky. Now, whether you're dealing with portraits or landscapes, it doesn't matter. It's important just to know what your focus is. What is your story going to be? What do you want the audience to pay attention to? That's how you're going to decide what line and what subject is going to align where. Now, if you make a mistake, no big deal. You could always fix it afterwards. Open your camera's editor, crop in a little bit, and that will give you enough wiggle room to go left, right, up, or down to align your subject where you need it to go. And now that you know the rules, I'm going to go ahead and tell you it's okay to break them. There are certain instances where you're going to want to break them. For instance, if your image is symmetric, you're going to center your image and exploit the symmetry. Another way to break the rule is to put your image directly in the middle of the frame. This will make your image seem larger than life and intimidating. If this technique interests you, there are many more techniques that you can explore. For instance, one of them is the Fibonacci sequence or the golden ratio. You can go online right now and see how your favorite brands and companies are using this technique to direct your attention all over their websites. Like that. Some more further tips: don't be afraid to have some fun with your photos, bring them in your editor, increase some of the brightness and the contrast, and don't forget to play with the highlights and the shadows. This will really make your photos pop. Now, I hope you guys learned a little something, but please don't forget just to have fun. Play around with your subject, move it around to the left and right, see what feels good for you. And I'd love to see what you guys are doing. Feel free to share some of your new images with us by hashtagging #ThisIsCulture on Instagram.
Wow, Mike, thank you so much for that great advice. Now, moving along, we're going to talk about how you can go above and beyond also in your real estate investments. As you guys may know, we are big on investing here, and I do have a lot of properties that I work on all the time. Now, I could go ahead and just mask a lot of these homes, but I go above and beyond. I do a lot of work, so I make sure my tenants or my end buyers are going to be very happy with the result. So that brings us into this week's episode of Flipping on Faith. So when we first introduced Flipping on Faith to you, we brought you along to 4 properties that we were working on. Now, what I love about this is that they all have different outcomes. The first 2, actually, we're still working on them under construction. We sold one, and there's another one that's having a couple of problems. So what I love about it is that you guys are going to see the realness of how it is to be a real estate investor and how you can go above and beyond and make sure that your projects are top notch as well. Check it out for yourselves. We're at a 3-family house. Well, not technically 3-family, 2-family with a bonus. Over here in 746 Summer Avenue. This is the first time I've been at the property since we picked it up. I have 2 contractors working here, and the whole mythology behind that is 1 contractor on 1 floor, 2nd contractor on the 2nd floor. Whoever finishes first gets the opportunity to do the 3rd floor. So what the contractor is telling us is that we can't use PVC flooring on our house because our floors, they're actually a little bit uneven. So what he recommended is that we use a laminate flooring that's a little bit thicker. That way we don't have to prep the floor, we don't have to put plywood down. We could just use that stronger laminate, and then we can go ahead and avoid all that extra cost. All right, so now we're going upstairs to see what the other guy's up to. All right, so this guy's a little bit further behind, as you can see, but it definitely is making some good progress. I have the sheetrock up. Let's go check out the 3rd floor. I don't think anyone's working up there yet, but I just want to keep an eye on the place, make sure we don't have any leaks or any surprises. Let's go check it out. So what I want to explain to you guys is that when you have a 2-family with a finished attic, your best bet is to incorporate the 3rd floor with the 2nd floor in conjunction by closing up this banister around here, putting a door in this section here which is going to open up in this direction, get rid of this door that's here now, so that way this unit that we're standing in right now is going to be incorporated with the 3rd floor. Simple as that. You have a bigger unit and you have more rent. 1 boiler for the entire house, so we had to demolition the partition walls around it because we're going to get rid of it. We're going to incorporate HVAC. We're going to put in 2 furnaces. That way we can heat the whole house separately, so the owner is not going to be responsible for any heat or hot water or anything like that. So as you can see, this used to be a finished apartment down here, but you don't want to get yourself in trouble with the city of having a finished apartment rented out illegally. So what we're going to do is we're going to eventually finish this basement off, and we're going to rent it with the 1st floor. That way they have more space. They can use it for storage, they can use it for recreation. What happens is the cinder block absorbs moisture, and then it transports that moisture right into the insulation, right into the sheetrock, and then you get black mold like this. So the proper way to finish a basement is, first of all, if you have a situation like this, is strip all the walls, knock everything down. Then what you're going to want to do is waterproof the walls with dry lock, then put a plastic sheathing over it, and then after the plastic sheathing you can put your framing, your insulation, then your sheetrock. I think my experiment has actually succeeded. Getting the 2 contractors in here working side by side is actually giving each other, I guess giving each one of them more motivation to see who can finish first. So I'm really excited. I'm definitely going to continue doing this with other properties. So tune in for next time and we'll see how this property is coming out. Moving on to our property in Avenel. Last time we were here, our contractors had just gotten started. Now they've made some major progress, but we hit a roadblock. One of the bathrooms that we're adding to the second floor needs to be adjusted because it is actually too small and it's not going to fit an average size door. So what we're doing is we're going to move the door to the other side of the wall and we're going to increase the size of the bathroom by 7 inches. That'll give us enough room to have all our necessities. Price is averted. Now we can move on to other aspects of the house. So now we're in Elizabeth on one of our newest projects. I have this property under contract. It has to be the nastiest house I've ever been in my life. It was so disgusting. There was nothing but garbage on every single floor. But today we have the appraiser with us, so we had no choice but to go into the house. Now that we're done, I want to take a precautionary measure and douse ourselves with some flea repellent because I've been in this situation before and you don't want to bring fleas into your car or bring them home with you. So just as a precautionary measure, always carry this in your car and douse yourself as much as possible after you enter a nasty house. So now we're moving along to the Belleville house. Our plan with this one was to wholesale it to one of our clients. We successfully did that a couple of weeks ago, and now the client is moving on to start his renovations. I can't wait to see how it turns out. As you guys can see, we're progressing really nicely in these projects, but it's not always easy, and sometimes we have a lot of setbacks. But just in life, sometimes you're gonna have your rough patches. So if you get knocked down, you just gotta get up again, because they're never gonna keep you down. Well, speaking of getting knocked down, as you guys know, it's opening week for football, and this week we have with us in studio Carmen Pizzano, who is the assistant video director for the New York Giants. Let's see what he had to say. Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today. I'm joined today with Carmen Pizzano. He is the assistant video director for the New York Giants, and we're really excited because we heard that he has quite a catch. We're going to see if we put him up to the test today on that. But he's well known for his media talents, and he's also been featured on many publications for this famous catch he had not too long ago. So we'll probe him about that a little bit and how he multitasks running a camera and still finds a way to also play the game. So before we get started, Carmen, I'd just like to know a little bit about you. Can you just give us a brief history about yourself?
Sure. So grew up in Belleville, New Jersey. Went to William Patterson College up in Wayne. Was a communications major. Married, have 2 kids, Gianna 13, Louis is 9, my wife Renee.
You're a family man.
Yeah, definitely got to be a family man. And then did an internship with the New York Giants in 1997 for that season, and then the following season I was hired full-time by them, and this is going on my 23rd season with the New York Giants right now.
So it's easy to say for most people watching this that you have a dream job, the dream job. A lot of guys would die to have your spot, your position. You've obviously been with the team now quite a while. You've seen the ups, the downs, and everything in between. What is the downside that people don't see of having a career like yours?
Well, the downside definitely is the hours, and I'm going to work 7 days a week until however far we go. Hopefully it's the Super Bowl and it's February, so that's 7 days a week, no days off. I travel wherever the team goes, all our games. So I'm not home on weekends. A lot of times we could be playing a Monday night game in San Francisco at 8 o'clock. I won't land back here to Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. I got to go right to work. Yeah. So the only downside I would say is the amount of hours that I do work.
What do your kids think about it? They must think that you're like the superstar, you know.
Yeah, they love it, and they love telling their friends what I do, and they're proud of their dad, and they get to be part of it. They get to do things with me. They get to come to events that we have. We have family events. They get to go to games. They get to meet the players. They get to meet the coaches. So they have relationships with a lot of the players, and they grew up knowing a lot of them. So the Giants do a good job of making the family involved and included, which is a great thing.
Probably rolling out the red carpet for them.
Yeah, they really do, because they know the commitment that we make, and they try to make our families involved as much as possible. So they have a relationship too with everybody, which is nice.
So is the organization kind of, you could say, like an extended family?
Well, when I first started working there, besides the coaches and players, there was about 20 to 25 full-time employees that didn't play football or coach football. Okay. And I'm part of that old regime. Now there's probably at least 100 employees now. We've grown. We were in the basement of the old Giants Stadium. We built a new stadium. We built a new facility. We have offices, marketing, sales. It's humongous. So I'm part of the old regime, which is like family, and which is nice. You know.
So how did you land an internship with the Giants? I'm sure it wasn't easy. I'm sure you just had to make one phone call and get it.
No, it was, so when I went to William Patterson, I joined the fraternity my first semester there. And there was a older brother in the fraternity who was already working there. Okay. And he knew I was a communications major. And he said, when you're a junior, you know, you could apply for an internship that we have with the Giants. And, you know, so that's what I did. He was working there as an assistant in the department I'm working at right now. I went in for the interview. I got the I got the internship because I was qualified, not because I knew him or anything like that, but I was qualified. And I got the internship in '97 with 3 other interns that year, and worked my butt off. And then the following year, a full-time position was available, and I was chosen out of the 3 other interns.
As an internship, were you being paid, or were you just being an apprentice?
I was not being paid then. We have interns now; they're all being paid, but not then. I worked for lunch, and that's about it.
So see, that's a great point, because a lot of younger kids today, they don't get that. They don't see that being an apprentice for someone and working and just being paid enough just to get there and back, or maybe for lunch, like you said, they don't see the value in that.
Right.
So I'd like for you to speak on that.
Well, and like I said, I have 4 interns a year, and I've been there 23 years, so I've been through probably 60, 70 interns. And I do see that, and I do see the attitude sometimes. And you got to just, like we pay our interns, it's a nominal fee, but at least they're getting something. It's a resume builder. These companies are not going to hire people they don't know. You got to get in these companies. You have to do internships, and you have to. That is basically your interview. It's not a couple and a 1 hour long interview. They want to see how you work. They want to see how you engage. They want to see how you are socially. You know, it's not all about book smarts. It's about how you get along. Are you a people person? You know, which I think is one of the most valuable things nowadays. And it's very valuable to do these internships. And, you know, they say, well, it's not enough money, or I need benefits. And, well, you're young enough. You don't need that. And you know what? Go get another job that you're going to supplement with that. Sure. Break your butt. Do it now. You know, and I preach this all the time. And even when I was doing my internship, I was doing other jobs. And even as 23 years at the Giants, I do other jobs. You know, you have to hustle. You have to be out there. You have to get yourself out there and really hustle your butt off to be out there. Because if you're not out there, if you're not swinging at the pitches, you're not going to hit them.
Of course.
You know?
Now, I'm not sure if you're going to be open to answer this question, but when you joined the Giants organization, was that your favorite football team at the time?
Yes.
Or did you have...
No, 1,000%.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
So it was a win. It was made.
Yeah,
a match made in heaven.
It was amazing.
That is great.
Yeah, it was really, I still pinch myself to this day. If I'm having a bad day or something like that, I think about it, and it brings a smile to my face.
Okay.
Because my father had a job he couldn't stand, waking up 4 in the morning.
Okay.
And I had jobs in college in the summer that I hated it. And I said, I never want this. You know, I never want this life. I may not get rich, but I enjoy waking up in the morning, which is something that was always my goal. Yeah. And I have it. Yeah. You know.
Carmen, so can you tell me what kind of positions you've held? Like, what were you when you first started as an intern, and what is your position now?
Yeah, so obviously internship in '97. And then for a long time, we had 3 people in our department. There was the head, and then we call them in the industry number 2, number 3. So our number 3 guy left to be the number 2 with the Jacksonville Jaguars at the time. Okay. So that number 3 spot opened. I got hired. So I was the number 3 for a long time. Our number 1 guy, our boss, in 2002 left. And the guy who got me the internship that I talked about prior, my college fraternity brother, became the boss. Nice. So then I moved up to 2. So I've been sitting there I've been there at 2 since 2002, and now we have 4 people in our department plus 4 interns. So the department has grown tremendously. Yeah. So I've been the second in charge, I guess, there for a while now.
Yeah. So I read an article, and I hope you don't get beat to death about this.
No.
But I read an article where it highlighted that you were running the camera, and at the same time a football came in your direction. Yeah. And then you caught it like without even flinching. And I saw the video. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So for years, my location for filming practices, I was on a 40-foot scissor lift up in the air. And I have my camera and my tripod, much like we're doing right here right now, up there, and I film every play. And so during the special teams period, the kickers kick field goals, and I'm usually always behind the goalpost, and they're always coming at me constantly. And for years, I would just duck them or slap them or whatever. Then I guess I got gutsy one day, and one was coming to me, and I started grabbing them. I do it now still. I start grabbing them, and I try to do it. And the players and the coaches all laugh and get excited when I do it. It's fun. So I did it that one time, and it was a good catch, I guess.
Yeah, it got a lot of attention.
Yeah, it did.
That was good.
But now, no, that's no more. I'm not on that lift anymore. We have these new things that were invented. It's basically I'm on the ground now, and a 40-foot pole goes up in the air, and I'm controlling it robotically.
That's awesome.
So I'm not catching them anymore.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that too, the progression of media. I mean, I see now a lot of things are drones and you've got 8K cameras and like all this intense stuff. Like, tell me more about the...
So for years, the number 2 user of Sony equipment was the NFL behind the U.S. Armed Forces. And when I first started there, we were on videotapes. There were Betacam tapes, and it was Betacam equipment, and everything was done chop editing, and then I saw the progression into digital editing. So that's where we're at now. So now, like I said, I'm up. I have a 40-foot pole up in the air with a Panasonic camera on it. I got robotic controls on the bottom. I'm taping to a SD card. We take our SD cards all through different times of practice. They go into our edit facility inside. We have a guy that's in there editing practice on the fly. And then by the time practice is over, everything's edited with stats to it, with data to it, and the coaches go to their meeting rooms. We maintain all the classrooms of the facility and the coaches' offices, and it's all on their laptops, and they're ready to watch practice, ready to go.
Wow.
So it's come a long way since when I started.
Yeah, so it's instantaneous. You never miss a beat. That's awesome. So I heard that part of your job is to actually share that data with opposing teams. Yeah,
so every night after their game, we edit our footage to offense, defense, special teams, and then it's uploaded to NFL Films. Okay. And then every team has the ability to download the footage. So it's one thing. That's one of the only things in the NFL that we do share is we'll all share each other's game footage.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So back in the day when I first started working there, it was all done on tape, and a courier had to come. Say we were done editing at 4 o'clock in the morning. A courier would come there. I'd give him a box. He would take it to the airport, put it on the first plane. We're playing the Oakland Raiders the next week. Goes on a plane to Oakland. They don't get it to say 6, 7 o'clock on Monday night, and they can't start working on it. Now they're getting it when we're done editing it. That 4-hour process turned into a half-an-hour process. Sure. And it's uploaded to the NFL film servers, and they're ready to go.
Got it.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah.
So last thing I want to ask you is, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of young people watching this and a lot of fans of the Giants or fans of media in general. What advice can you give them as far as if they want to develop themselves within a path that like you chose something that you enjoyed?
You got to get out there, and you can't be afraid, and you got to start with internships, and just apply for a bunch of them, get one, and try it out. From the ages of like 21 to 30 years old, like you could screw up. You could mess up as much as possible. Try things. When you're young, like a job is not a prison sentence. If you don't like what you're doing, apply to other places. Sure. Get your resume out there and try something else. Like so many people just, I think, get complacent and they settle in, and it becomes a job to them. Sure. But just try things and work hard, get to know people, get yourself out there, get your name out there, get your personality out there.
Absolutely. I think the problem nowadays is that the culture of having instant gratification is among us. Yeah. You know, if you want to know something, you Google it right away.
Sure.
If you want Taco Bell, you can call someone deliver it to you. Like everything is instantaneous. Right. So they feel that also success should be instantaneous. And what I tell a lot of young people, especially who want to come into this business, is never make whatever you want to get into, never make money the principal thing you're going after. Make sure that you're doing something you truly enjoy, because the money will always follow. Like you did something you were enjoying. You enjoyed football and you enjoyed media, right? And then eventually success and money came. You know, then you had all the perks as well. But you would have never gotten there if you didn't sacrifice for however long you had to be an intern for. Right. So I always feel like, you know, when you want to go after something, make sure that money obviously is a concern for everyone. No one can live for free, but make sure that money is secondary to your passion. Yeah. And like you're talking about like social media and Instagram and all that too. And, you know, the biggest complaint is, like, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and she's always on it. But
you have to adapt to that too, because our parents, I think the generation before us, when TVs came out, their parents yelled at them for stop watching TV so much. Now we're yelling at our kids, stop watching your personal devices so much. It is what it is, and it's part of the world, and you have to adapt to it. And you can't be stale, and you can't stay in 2019 forever. Like, we're going to grow and grow and grow more, and you have to embrace it and figure out a way to make that a positive aspect in your life.
I agree.
I also want to add, though, from my experience of seeing interns and seeing the majority of interns I'm getting now, is we hire these interns, and when you get an internship and you get your foot into a door, specifically a big door, say the New York Giants, say Chase Bank, say Neiman Marcus, say Goldman Sachs in the city, right? You come in, you have an interview, and usually in an interview you're dressed well, you look good or whatever, and then you show up for the first day of work, and you have 3 earrings on here, you haven't been shaved, your hair is messed up, you have a dagger tattoo on your forearm here. You know, there has to be also a graduation of becoming a college student to a professional. And I take pride, like my boss, he takes pride in teaching our kids a craft, and he does a great job at it. I take pride in trying to teach a lot of children to become adults. And I see it all the time. And I'll say, they'll come in and 3 earrings here, or hair's messed up, and I'll be like, you know, take your earrings out. You know, you're out in the field, you're in a professional organization. Be who you want to be when you're home, when you're out with your friends, when you're socializing. But when you're here, represent a professional person. You know what I mean? Like, just, I'm saying, like, putting a little product in your hair, combing your hair, maybe a fresh shave every 2 days. You know, I'm not saying, I'm not going to be like military, but little things like that, you know what I mean, add up and make a tremendous difference.
That is 100% true. It's just called respect. You know, it's really what it is at the end of the day, because, you know, you want to be an individual. I get it. You're young, you're going through a phase, and you want to be known for whatever you think is cool, but at the same time, you have to kind of conform to where you are.
Yeah, and it's not, I don't care what people think about me. No, you should care what people think about you. Because that first impression is, you can never outdo that first. If it's a bad first impression, it's very hard to get over that.
Carmen, thank you so much for being in the studio today and giving us these great words of wisdom. You know, we really look forward to seeing what the Giants are going to do you know, this year, next year, and, you know, going forward. So it's good to know that there are real people that work within the organization who do have, you know, real lives, real families, and have a story behind it. You know, it's not just like, you know, my dad was connected and he got me in. You know, you worked your way in there. You hustled your way in there. So that shows other people that it could be done again. You know, if you make it possible, other people, they go for it as well, which is great. So thank you, Carmen. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Let's see if we can get Carmen catching that football. You ready for that?
Hey, Carmen.
Oh, man, still got it. Good job. Wow, another amazing show. If you guys enjoyed it, please don't forget to give us a comment, a like, a share, even hit that notification bell. Thanks again for watching. See you later.